what's really tough about social media? That everyone now has a platform to reach the masses. Yes, that's also what's really great about social media, but the danger here is that misinformation can spread really fast. And the problem with misinformation in our industry is that real estate, mortgages, home ownership are already pretty complex concepts. Not because it's rocket science, but it's fast changing, it's emotionally charged, and it has huge impact and huge consequences on people's lives. So I always task myself and you with the weight of that. I want you guys to show up for your sphere with real estate advice because you all are true experts. I will always push you to make sure you are sharing information that is actually helpful and that you are always telling your audience what they should do with that information. That's my kind of call to action. It's not salesy, it's not sleazy, it's honest, it's helpful, and it's insightful. There's a lot of hype out there right now about interest rates and what they're going to do in 2024, that they're going to come down. As we've talked about this, it's going to be a bumpy road. They'll come down, but it won't be a straight line down. We saw proof of that this morning with the jobs report and mortgage bonds giving back some of their gains from this week. I'll come back to that in a second. First, I want to discuss the pros and cons of jumping in front of your audience to get them excited about rate cuts in 2024. Let's start with the pros. It's nice to share good news, and it's been a while since we've been able to do that, so I get it. We know rates are a hot topic. We know that's going to get good engagement. We know it's top of mind with our buyers and our sellers. We know it's what they want to talk about. And we want to be the first to tell them something. We want to establish ourselves as in the know and looking out for them and bringing them the inside scoop. They'll be grateful for that. Here are just some of the cons, starting with a minor technicality that many seem to have overlooked this week. There is no guarantee that interest rates will come down in 2024. The Fed has announced no such thing. They've given zero promises. They haven't even given any hints that that is their plan. If you publicly proclaim that rates are going to do something and then they do the opposite, that's a bad look. Whether you like it or not, we are influencing people's decisions. And speaking of influencing people's decisions, if they think interest rates will be so much better in 2024, why not just sit tight? Wait to make any moves until those beautiful interest rates materialize. Maybe you told them in your video or newsletter that they shouldn't wait because then the competition will be tougher. Good for you for pointing that out. I'm guessing they were a little skeptical on that because interest rates being lower would be so amazing for them. It would be so impactful on their monthly payment, and people tend to just hear what they want to hear and disregard the rest. Let's say 2024 pulls a 2023, and not only do rates not go down, but they blast up. Now you've effectively priced your own buyers out of the market and contributed to a very vicious cycle. I could keep going with these cons, but essentially after 11 years in this business, I've learned the best advice I can give clients is what to do with the information available now, how to make the best decision with the facts as they stand now. That doesn't mean we can't make another good decision when different information is available later. So what happened this morning with the jobs report? It came out higher than expectations, showing almost 200,000 jobs added last month in November. This sucks, but it isn't shocking. Why does it suck? Because it adds to inflationary pressures. Not only were more jobs than expected added, the unemployment rate fell. Average earnings ticked up. Those are all indications of a strong economy that can tolerate more rate hikes to get to the Fed's target on inflation of 2%, which we have not yet hit. Why isn't it shocking? I just told you the industry wasn't expecting this. They were only expecting 190,000 jobs to be added. So why not shocking? It's not shocking because we talked about right here a few weeks ago that November and December economic reports could be skewed by holiday shopping. Some of those jobs added were probably just seasonal jobs, and those people are going to get laid off come January 1st. Similarly, as we've also touched on here, inflation readings for November and December may not be what we want to see. This will be due in part to the record shopping we saw on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I shared that I was very shocked with this on our monthly webinar this week. Then after the webinar, I read a data point. I found a data point that kind of explains what happened. There was a significant increase in consumers clicking the buy now, pay later option at checkout. It was up 19% than last year. That shows that the consumer isn't really as strong as they might appear to be, and we already know that credit card delinquencies are up. So people might have a hard time paying for the holidays after the holidays have come and gone. But to come back to where we started this, which is how to carefully craft your message and guidance to clients right now, I want you to ask yourself this question. If you didn't have an interest tied to real estate sales, if it wasn't your livelihood, what advice would you give? If you yourself were shopping for a home as the regular consumer, but with the magical power of having the insight of someone with industry experience, would you buy right now? Would you sell right now? What would you do? I think if we put ourselves in that human position and try to view things from that specific perspective as often as possible, we will give much, much better advice to our clients and our audiences. Otherwise, this all becomes a bit too businessy for something that in reality, no matter how you want to spell it out, is actually a very personal decision and therefore emotional for all of the people we work with. On the note of perspective shifts, I'm hosting a completely free webinar this coming Wednesday for realtors and loan officers anywhere in the country. I think we're coming up on a really important year for our industry and an opportunity that you could change the entire course of your career. I'm going to share my systems from mind over markets in full to my personal marketing strategy to my loan process with full transparency on this webinar. I've never done that online before. I've really only ever done it on stage in a room where people had to invest in themselves to get into that room. I also have a big announcement for a change I'm making in the new year. So use the link below to register and share it with your friends in the industry. Invite them to come as well.